Have you felt just a little off lately? Maybe you just don't have the energy and you're overwhelmed and a little bit irritable and you just don't have the motivation. You're procrastinating and it seems like what little output you do put out just seems lacking. You're losing your self-confidence about that. Maybe it's not depression or anxiety, but burnout. Burnout looks a lot like low-grade depression or anxiety, but it's different. Burnout is a state of chronic physical and emotional exhaustion caused by prolonged, unmanaged stress. Kind of that underlying stress that's just going on that maybe you're not real aware of. You just, just feel and you manage it. And you tend to deal with it, whether it's in your job, your relationships, marriage, kids, school. If you're going to school, I went to college when I was older. And so you just kind of all of a sudden you hit a wall and you just have no motivation, or you just really don't care. Emptiness, kind of just, and it wears on you. It seems to me, it is of my opinion, there are a lot of YouTube creators that are in burnout. YouTube has changed. I know that last year, I'm coming up on 3 years on YouTube, and last year, through the summer, did really well. My channel was growing. I was close to 1,000 subscribers. My views were good. Watch time hours were just climbing. And it was like October 1st, it flatlined. I mean, the little graph. And then it was whoop and nothing. And, I would hear other creators talking about this. Their views were down. And during this time, different times, people dealt with this. And, the things that you here to do is to be consistent, stay authentic, produce good content. So, I kind of did a little audit about stuff and I upped my game and worked on it. And, and there's a certain stress involved in creating content for YouTube. And that's, and a lot of that was my own expectation. But, the expectation that I need to do a long form once a week and do lives and this and do that and make sure your thumbnails are good and your title and your, and it's just a low grade stress factor. It's just like with many of you that I have talked to and that I know, you kind of hit a wall. And all of a sudden it's like, I don't even know if I want to do YouTube anymore. And it's not that you quit, it's that you think about it. You might be in burnout. And so if you find yourself in burnout, whether it's on you being a YouTube creator, or whether it's your job or your marriage or kind of whatever it is, if you come to realize that you're dealing with burnout, there are some things you can do. And probably the number one thing is what me as a therapist would say is self-care. Well, some people think self-care is going to get a massage or going, that's not always, even though that can be a component of it, but it's to take a step back you know, detach a little bit emotionally from that. Put your expectations down and set some personal boundaries within yourself of, well, I need to not make content for a week or a month or a summer, and take a break. Take a break, put the expectations down, and step back. You step back so you can evaluate your priorities. What is your why? Why did you start your YouTube channel in the first place? What is it about your spouse that you fell in love with? What is it that maybe you quit doing in the relationship that brought a spark? That's the only thing you can change. You can't change them. If it's your job, what do you need to do? Evaluate your priorities. You need to start looking for a new job. Do you maybe need to have a sit down with your manager and talk about how you're feeling? Take a vacation. Seek some support. Seek some help. I definitely often have people in my office and they're describing what they're describing, and it's burnout. Straight and simple. Burnout. When you feel overwhelmed, you find yourself being real cynical about stuff, and you have a reduced sense of personal accomplishment or efficacy. It's probably burnout. There's a little bit of a different type of symptoms than depression or anxiety. And so the things that work, take a break. Let yourself off the hook. Change the pace. Go outside. Take a walk. Go do something you enjoy. Put whatever it is. Take a vacation from your job. So you might ask me, so how do I take a vacation from my marriage, or how do I take a break from my marriage? And it might be to go do something with your friends. And if you don't have friends, go do something separate. Or, detachment is a great tool to use, whether it's work, relationships, or creating YouTube content. Detachment is you detach from the outcome or the expectations or the emotional stuff. You stay engaged, you're respectful, and yet you don't get emotionally sucked in. That's like adding fire. Burnout? Kind of what happens to a dumpster fire. It finally burns out. So, I hope you found this helpful a little bit. You don't have to quit. It's okay to take a break. I used to not know how to do that. To just take a break. Lay in the bed, binge watch some show on Netflix, eat your favorite chips, time out, get up, re-engage, and go on, if that's your priority. And the most important part while you're doing all of this is to be you on purpose.